Hi, I'm Paul Salmon. I'm a spiritualist medium. My guest today is Kevin Doe, Aura Consultant. Hi Kevin.
Hi Paul.
First of all, I must ask you, what is an aura?
An aura is considered to be the energy around the outside of us, atoms and molecules excited in space.
Oh, there you go, that's a bit of scientific knowledge for you. When people say, can you feel my aura, can it be felt? Feel someone else's aura?
I say see, sense, feel, experience. We're all different. Yes, we've got two eyes, two arms, two legs, etc. But we all experience life differently, but in similarities. To me, some people see, others feel and sense. So yes, if you're a healer or you're someone that's got quite sensitive hands, literally rub your hands together, you can move backwards and forwards and find the edge of someone's energy.
And this is what you photograph?
This is what we photograph,
Right, we'll see you do that in a minute. But how long have you been doing photographing and interpreting auras?
I've been doing it off and on for probably about 12 years now. I haven't been doing it full time. I've literally dipped in and out of the subject, but 12 years I guess using the equipment, getting to know the equipment, so yeah.
And how did you come into this way of life?
I've lived in some pretty different experiences, you could say. I lived in haunted houses, so there's always been something going on that's not been what people say the norm, but you know, how do you measure that?
Okay, well, let's photograph Sarah. She's our volunteer today, and maybe you can take her photograph and interpret what you see with her life.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, Sarah, I'm just going to take your aura photograph today, so if you'd like to place your hands onto the biofeedback plates for me.
Biofeedback plates. That sounds great.
What it's doing, it's sending in a little bit of energy through your body, and it's going to illuminate the etheric around the outside. So what I'd like you to do is just take a few deep breaths in for me. As much contact with your palms and your fingers as possible. Okay, literally just send yourself a place, a situation, something that's been pleasant to your heart. So just imagine it for a few seconds, breathe into that space. That's it. And the next breath in, I'm going to actually take the photograph now. So last deep breath in. Nice big smile, it's not your passport, that's better. So just keep your hands nice and flat for me, and in the top of the camera you'll possibly be able to see the colours now. Just take a few seconds and we're waiting for a bleep. It's a very sensitive piece of equipment, so what it's doing is going through the different spectrums of colour as it analyses you.
Alright.
Just draw the photograph out the back and you can take your hands off.
You can't feel anything on there, can you?
No, it's very, it's an interesting
I think
piece of
people would
equipment.
expect you to have some form of a tingling, but you don't feel anything at all.
Right, just take a few seconds for this to develop now, so as we're doing that, what we find with these photographs is they're interesting. They change. Photographs are not meant to change, but they do.
Oh.
Sometimes people go back to them after a day or so. Either the colours have deepened or sometimes images come up within the photograph. I don't understand how it works, but it happens.
That's peculiar.
So if in a couple of days' time you pick your photograph up again and you're seeing something, like it looks like there's someone standing to one side of you, there's what potentially could be a reflection, but it looks like part of a structure.
Right.
There's usually an element of that that relates to you somehow.
So if I keep a note of it for about a few days or so?
Definitely.
Yeah.
With this type of reading and these type of photographs, you can always go back to them. So my cards are designed that they give both positive and negative of the images and the colours. So you can always look at what your colours are, what's above them and what's below them. Okay.
By the time your interview goes out, I'll have a whole record of what it's done.
You certainly will.
And I can add that on there, can't I?
You certainly will. Okay. If you'd like to give me the first colour that comes to your mind, please.
Oddly enough, I've got green.
Okay, green. Dark or light?
Lightish.
Okay.
Green.
So green, colour of empathy. It's about understanding, but it's also about you looking at your path at this time. It's probably more poignant now than ever that you're receiving healing. You're starting to dig deep. A few challenges on the way. So, but in honesty, you're starting to look at yourself within. There's times that brings challenges. There's other times it's like, well, I'm me and I'm happy to be me.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a really important point. Right, Sarah, we've now taken your photograph. It's a very large aura, and when I say that, you're a big personality. If I'll just hold that to the camera for a few seconds so people can see that, and we'll do a still shot of it afterwards as well. So the aura literally is pushed out of the top of the plate, and it's very large either side of the plate. You like to be in control. It's important for you to feel comfortable when you're making decisions. You don't suffer fools gladly, and sometimes it can be a very sharp fuse or a short fuse to how you're feeling. Sometimes it's a case of, I want to get out of here because it doesn't feel right.
Definitely.
Saying that, you're creative, you're passionate, you have your decision-making process is about how am I feeling, what do I know, what's going on right now. But saying that, you're coming to a point in your life now where actually you're taking all those things into consideration, and actually it's like, wait a minute, you're actually reanalysing what it is that you do, and you're seeing a bigger picture now. In the past, the energy possibly would have overtaken you. Now you've come to a point, I would say wisdom more. The colours that I'm seeing, we've got a goldy yellow at the top here. So
it's an unusual shade, isn't it?
It's almost as if your energy is starting to slow down and you become far more creative.
Right.
Whereas in the past it's like you would have rolled your sleeves up, it's like, come on, let's get on with this. And you would have wanted to get it done. Do it once, do it right, and it's finished.
Yeah, definitely.
Now this side, so on this side of the photograph, I'll hold it up. This is your past.
Right.
This is your future, and in the middle we can see there's a lot of pink, purple energy. So you're very spiritual now. The energy coming up through you, your ethos is one that you're starting to see, as we just said, a bigger picture. Who am I? Where am I? What do I want? If I say you've co-created your reality in what you're doing now, you love this. You love not only do you love the technology of it, you also like the control of being able to do something that you've got a start and a finish when you're editing. I would say at times you're probably hard on yourself. You go overboard with some of the processes. But you have it. When you've got it in the can, you've got it. You can use it and you can present it how you wish to. Now, there's some frustrations on your path last 6 months.
Yes.
If I said there's been doubt about what you're doing now, would that be right?
Yes.
Yeah. Am I doing it? If I said to you, my feeling is, am I doing it for the right reasons?
I think when you are a business owner anyway, and you have that type of life, you do get that, and I have had that a lot at the start of this last year.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I have.
So you've looked at that constantly. Now, energy going forward, we've got a lot of spirit energy coming in over the next 6 months. We've got an area of white over one side over here. There's a magenta range in that as well. So you're connecting. That's right. This is the cloud. Now, the white elements of it is your faith in your own ability. You know, if you dig deep, that you can succeed in what you do. It's about whether or not you continue on that path of whatever it is you've chosen to do.
Yeah.
And that's, I feel in the past there's been many short paths. You've started something and you've stepped back from it, you've engaged in it, you've gone just a short distance and actually actually this doesn't feel right, so you've pulled your energy back again. Going forward, there's a lot more gold. There's a lot more orange, so the orange is about relationships, and I feel the biggest relationship is with yourself.
Yeah.
Who you are as a person, feeling comfortable with who you are as a person. You're very knowledgeable in your subject. The more you're feeling comfortable with that, the bigger as a character you're starting to become.
Yeah.
But confidence is the basis behind a lot of your decision-making processes. I'm going to come back to this white area. Be careful of tiredness. You're driving yourself. Yeah.
I've had that a lot in my sort of like late 20s and now into my 30s. I do get told to slow down a lot more.
Yeah. So.
And I was told a long time ago that if I don't slow down, it will directly impact on my health.
It will.
And that has been something I've been more conscious of this year.
It will slow you down.
Going to bed at 8:30.
Coming back to the purple, right down the centre of the column, we spoke about your spirituality. There's A lot there about reflection as well. We touched on reflection in honesty.
Yeah.
That's a big part of you as a person, and it's usually most people's growth. With you, there's been a reluctance to actually go there in the past, but now you are. If we travel light, we travel wisely.
Yeah, no, I can take that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
dealing with things earlier in life is far easier in the creative process of whatever it is that we choose to do. So the way to read this card is look at the colours. I'm going to put you midway up in the spectrum of colours here. So you sitting in a development group at the moment?
No.
Why not?
Well, I haven't got one locally. I have been told literally in the last couple of months or so I really should. So yeah, that is something that I've been thinking about doing.
Your intuition, I would say, serves you well. It's either an instant like for someone or an instant dislike. But in the instant dislikes, there's usually something that comes on that path that you become aware. So actually, I knew that.
That's when my analytical side kicks in. I start to try and analyse why I don't particularly like someone or some situations, and then I'd sometimes over-process it. But I've learned to rein that in a bit now.
Yeah. The overthinking it sometimes can actually slow us on a path. The intuition side of it will tie us into the synchronicities in life.
That's what I'm sort of now becoming a bit more accepting of my gut instincts straight away.
That's probably as far as I can go with that.
No, that's interesting.
It's a nice, strong, vibrant aura.
Is that me in the middle there?
That's you.
In the middle.
That's you in the middle.
I didn't want to say there's a face in there. That's actually my head.
That's actually you in the centre there.
Right.
Your aura is. You're very much an orb in energy. You're very much in the centre. The depth of your aura around you is consistent. With some people, it's not particularly strong on the physical side. With you, you're a passionate person.
If you took a wider photo, would you see where it finished, or is it just is it an expanding thing?
It's an expanding thing.
Yeah.
With some people, and experiments have been done in the past that you could douse into someone's energy. If someone's very vibrant, usually someone's given a dress to a public, something like that, their aura expands incredibly.
And you can't see the edge of it.
And you can't see the edge of it because there are multiple layers of it. But for the photographic purpose, if we set the camera back a bit further, and with other technology, other equipment that I have, I could do a complete body aura showing you the shape.
It would be interesting to see where the edge of it actually sits on me, wouldn't it?
Just very much so. Yeah. So there we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's very insightful. That's a very unusual way of looking at yourself. I like it. It's going to be interesting to see how it changes over the next few days, if it changes. Yeah, so
with some people they do, with others they don't. A photograph is not meant to change, but they do. They do. People ring us up after they visited at the shows and say, I've got something that's come up on the photograph, it wasn't there.
It's amazing, isn't it?
So there you go. Keep it open because they stay damp for a little while.
Yeah, okay.
But, it's a good aura. You're moving forward into more creative processes, definitely.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Kevin.
So Kevin, we've seen you photograph Sarah just now, but that camera is a special type of camera, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's the original idea came from Simeon Kirlian. If we go back in history, there was a guy called Nikola Tesla. I say a guy, an incredible scientist that, had we have gone with his science, we'd all have free electricity, free energy today. But the idea was that if you put energy through the human body, you could expand the etheric and excite the atoms and molecules around the outside of it. That was taken on. Simeon Kirlian took the idea. You've possibly seen the photographs where you see the corona or the energy around the outsides of fingers.
Yeah.
That was Kirlian's idea, using an electrophotographic plate to excite the energy around the outside and capture it. That system has been taken on and advanced to what we call biofeedback. Biofeedback is multiple types of energy being collected from the body. With my camera, you'll see that there are two blue plates. I ask people to put their hands on the plates. What it does, it photographs the person sitting, and then the biofeedback generates light emitting diodes that are projected onto the photographic plate. So it's a dual photographic process. But light has frequencies of colour, so the emotional responses of colour are the frequencies of our emotions.
Right, so different people may have different colours.
That's right.
Depending on what's going on in their life
Very much so.
at the moment.
Yes, there's three different main areas of a photograph. The corona, the top, is usually the more dense, the slower energy. We usually see people that come back to us every 6 months, plus or minus than that time, but we see how their energy changes in the lower parts, the more the energy excited areas, more than we do at the top. But over a period of time, if someone's going through change, then we'll actually see the corona shift as well. So, and we demonstrate that with different photographs that we have taken over time.
Right, I'm looking at Sarah's photograph here, and you put it on a nice presentation album with all the different colour combinations, what each one means. But you actually gave a reading to Sarah. How do you connect? What's the connection from the photograph?
I guess over the years I've developed a bit of a process and it works for me. I'll usually ask an analytical question. The most common that I will do is to ask a person for the first colour that comes to their mind. I will give an analytical response to the what the colour means, but in that process I'm starting to connect with the person. I'm feeling the energy of their voice, and the connection just opens up from there. So I don't always know where the energy comes from. I don't need to understand it. I just give what sometimes what comes to mind. Other situations I'll actually have imagery in my mind, and I will see things. It's not logical, but I just give it now. I don't try and interpret it as in break it down into what the components are.
So you don't try and get a link with a certain spirit guide as mediumship, or
if that happens, then yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes a member of the family or someone will come close. With me, I get a flush of body hair. So my arms usually will bush up like cat fur,
really?
But I literally sense someone standing beside us or between us, and I will go into a slightly different reading, but it doesn't always happen that way.
So it could be a psychic link, or it could be a mediumship link.
It could.
Or even a mixture of both.
It could be, yeah. It could be either. Sometimes I actually feel with one particular lady, we were sitting, which is unusual for me. I don't usually sit when I read. We were sitting across the table, and I felt my hands grow, and I felt my shoulders bulk out, and I felt someone's overshadowing me. I could feel the energy of a gentleman. So I said to her, I almost feel that I want to give you a hug, and I feel like I said, I will just say exactly what I'm feeling at this moment. I said, feel like I've got hands like a shovel, a manual worker, a guy that towers over me, and I feel he must have been much broader than myself, probably 6'4". The lady shed a few tears and she said, "That's my husband." I said, "Well, I feel, I'm feeling I want to give you, I want to embrace you, I want to cuddle you."
Yeah.
So I said, that's how it feels to me at this moment. The reading went on, and the amount of information that came out, it was a very different reading on that occasion.
Okay. Where's technology going, Kevin? I mean, are we talking about moving pictures now? And
yeah, it's a very interesting subject now. Science in the past was telling us this happens, that doesn't happen. If you can't recreate it, then it doesn't exist. Well, we know that our emotions are fluid, energy is fluid, and like water, there are many different components to it. It can be steam, it can be a solid. Technology has now got a point, and our technology has now evolved to a point where we see moving aura. So we can see the interaction of two people's energy. With the other system that I use and have demonstrated live on stage in the past, we can get someone completely neutral out of the audience. I like to put numbers under seats, because that way we don't know who's going to sit on that seat. We can pull that person out of the audience if they're willing, get them up on stage. That's the client that we use for the healing process, and then we will have two healers usually, so we can show the difference before and after, and we can show the person sitting and their biofeedback, their energy, their aura, and then we can show the person as the healer, their individual aura. So actually you see the two auras merge and shift. Okay. You see how the healer raises a vibration of that person.
Yeah. And have you ever photographed anything which is out of the ordinary?
Yes, I did have one in the past, a gentleman. I won't give you the full details there, obviously for confidentiality, but what I would say is the gentleman was very nervous. He told me he would break the camera.
Nope.
I thought that was quite impossible. You know, it's a solid subject that it's never ever happened. He was right, he did.
But so he did know something was the matter.
He knew something wasn't right with his energy. He said he had problems with electrical equipment.
Yeah.
I took the photograph, rightfully enough. The camera buzzed profusely. It threw out 5 photographs all at the same time and it completely shut down.
Good grief.
I had a real problem to reset the camera and get it working again. When I opened it up, I had a column of white light with black and yellow either side. I had never seen an aura like that before.
But did you go on to give a reading?
When I went on to give the reading, it became very apparent as to what was happening, and yes, yeah, it was very interesting.
I just want to finish up by asking you, where do you take your work, around the whole country, or?
Yes, at the moment I'm travelling the Mind, Body and Soul shows up and down the country.
Yeah.
This season is the busiest season I've ever seen. We have over 28 bookings now. It's most of the main shows now. I love to do the smaller shows as well, though. So for anyone who's considering, asking us, would we like to do something? Yes, please give us the option.
I know I've been to Mind, Body and Spirit fairs myself, and I still go, and it's a very popular area, isn't it? Your work.
It's right. It's a very vibrant energy field of all sorts of things in Mind, Body and Soul shows. That's how we met originally, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
I won't say how long ago, but
quite a while.
Kevin, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming in. Come in again one day and we'll maybe do another experiment or something.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to do the live stuff.
Yeah, we'll do that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Paul.